Hello everybody, welcome to this instruction video. This video is for part 8 of the In Bloom crochet along. In Bloom has been designed by Johanna from Mio Crochet in collaboration with Favorite Garner. Part 8 is the last part of this project. We'll be making the last few rounds and joining everything together. So you can see this is the completed cushion, it's all filled up. And in this last part we'll be doing these last few rounds here and then fold everything around. So if you look at it from the back, you see the join here to the back. So this is also a big thing that we'll be doing to this video, this part, is showing you how to do that join. So I'll be showing you how to do the join as well as the last few rounds that make up part 8. If I just swing it back to the front again, you can see it's a really amazing cushion. I really love this cushion. So I'll take you step by step through the rounds that make up this part. As usual, I'll be using Scheepjes Katona yarn also in these last few rounds, and then I'll be using a 3 and a 3.5mm hook depending on which round I'm at. Thank you for watching. I hope it's a useful video for you. Round 57. I'm using a 3.5mm hook for this round because we're going to be doing linen stitch again, and that's just to help me to keep my yarn from pulling the stitches. If you could also work a 3mm hook, that's also fine, but then keep your stitches loose. This is a repetition of row 18, so you've done this before. So these rows here with these linen stitches. I'll just get you started. In any chain 2 corner space, insert your hook and attach with a slip stitch. Chain 3. First chain counts as your first single crochet. You're going to close on that stitch when you're all the way around. Then chain 2, which is for your chain 2 corner space, and then another single crochet in the same space. That's your new corner. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. On the straight edge, chain 1, skip the first stitch, that's a single here, and then go to the chain 1 space and work a single. Single crochet, chain 1, skip the single, and in the chain space work a single. This you're going to repeat till you're to the other side, where you'll have to do a last chain 1, skip your last single crochet, and then work a new corner. Again, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet in the chain 2 corner space. You're going to repeat this all the way around, and after your last stitch here, that's going to be the single crochet in the chain 1, then close on that first chain with a slip stitch. You can cut your yarn because we're using a new color for the next round. Round 58, you're going to repeat what you just did, round 57, so the linen stitch, you're going to repeat that again. So attach in any corner space with a chain 3 and a single crochet in the corner to make your corner, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space, in the corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. All the way around, and then close on your first stitch with a slip stitch. For this round, you're going to be using color 1. And then I'll see you for the next round. Round 59, you're again going to repeat the round that you just did. So the linen stitch round, again another round, but this time in your background color. So for me it's the white here. So use your background color and do another round of linen stitch. So in the corner, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, then chain 1s in between your single crochets that you're working in the chain 1 spaces all the way around, and at the end of this round leave your yarn attached, so don't cut your yarn. Round 60. This round I'm just going to drop a hook size. So I've done a 3.5mm hook for the linen stitch. I'm just going to drop to a 3mm hook for this round. Round 60 is a repetition of round 47. Going to work a double crochet in every chain space and single crochet, and in the corner you work 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles. I'm currently in that first chain, which counted as a single crochet. I'm currently in there with a slip stitch. Chain 2, this counts as my first double crochet. I'm also going to close on that chain 2 with a slip stitch. If your attention is different, then and you might prefer a chain 3 here. Next up is the corner. I'm going to work 2 doubles, 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles in the corner space. Let me just straighten everything a bit in front of the camera. On the straight edge, work a double crochet on every stitch and every chain space. So the first single crochet is that one there. Work a double crochet on that single, then a double crochet in the chain space. Double crochet on the single, and one in the chain space. Going to repeat this till you get to the next corner space, where you're going to again work 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles in that corner. Repeat on all 4 edges, and when you're all the way around, you're going to work your last double crochet and then close on the chain 2 with a slip stitch. For row 61 and 62, what you want to do is you just want to measure your cushion for size, because round 61 and 62 are used to make it the right size. So what you do, just fold your cushion inward. So take the tip and fold it inward, and it's rather big at this point. There you go. So I'm just folding my corners inward, and you want to check whether or not this fits your cushion. If it's too small, do rows 61 and 62. If it's the right size, you stop at this point. So just measure your cushion size. You can also put your cushion in here and just fold it across and see if these tips line up nicely with your cushion or not. And if you still got loads of space left, then you need to do rounds 61 and 62. So just quickly measure your cushion with your cushion inner to see how you are for size. Round 61, assuming that you're going to need this round, that you're making your cushion bigger. Like I said before, if your cushion is already the right size, you can skip these rounds. Going to do a chain 1. This counts as my first single crochet, because we're going to do a single crochet on every stitch. Currently in that chain 2, that chain 2 is from the previous round, so I've got 2 stitches to the corner. I'm going to work a single crochet on those last 2 stitches. Brings me to the corner, where you work a single, chain 2 and a single. And a single. On the straight edge, again work a single in every stitch. That's the first stitch there. And continue and work a single crochet on every stitch. You get to the corner, work a single, chain 2 and a single. Go all the way around, and when you get to your last single crochet, you're going to close on that chain 1 with a slip stitch. Round 62, this is a repetition of round 16. We're going to work a double crochet on every stitch, and in the corner 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles. Currently in this stitch here with a slip stitch, chain 2. This is my first double crochet, so I'm also going to close on this stitch when I'm all the way around. If you prefer, a chain 3 can also work here. Then I'm going to work a double crochet to the corners. That's the next stitch. 1, 3 doubles, chain 2 corner space, work 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, and a bit more yarn and 2 doubles. That's my new corner. 2 doubles, chain 2 and 2 doubles, and then on the straight edge again a double crochet on every stitch. Repeat this all the way around. When you get to your first stitch, that's the chain 2, close on that stitch with a slip stitch. I've now completed row 61-62. I just want to check my cushion for size, so I'm going to flip it over, have the back side facing, and then this is the cushion that I'm going to be using to wrap everything around. I'm just going to fold my pattern inwards, and it's very hard for me to get everything in front of the camera, even though I am completely zoomed out. But what you want to do is you want to fold these corners in, and of course also the fourth one that I can't get on screen. But what you want is you want them to be, that if you pull it tight, that there's still a bit of space here, because you want to have enough tension on these stitches that you really fill the cushion. So you don't want to have this, I just exaggerated, you don't want to have it like that. Then you've got too much fabric and you're going to end up with these sloppy points in your cushion. So you really want to be able to stretch your crochet fabric just a little bit to fill up that cushion. So if you've made it too large, then just take out your last 1 or 2 rows, that's not a problem. If at this point you still have a very long gap that you're going to have to put an awful lot of tension on here, then repeat rows 61 and 62, repeat that once more to just make it a bit larger. I'm actually reasonably happy with this. I'm going to have to pull this to get it all closed, and because I'm having to put quite some tension on here. But the moment you let it go, it kind of springs open again. So this should be fine for me size-wise. So I'm going to continue with connecting the edges and actually sewing this shut. I am, however, going to do it without the cushion in here, because that's just going to be easier for me on the video, and then I'll undo that and do it again without the video. So I'm going to be joining my cushion without the cushion. Now, to do the join, put a stitch marker halfway on each edge. So I've got the 4 edges here, and I've got a stitch marker in the most center stitch. So from either way, you have the most center stitch. Put a stitch marker in there on all 4 edges, because these are going to be the 4 corners of the cushion. So place a stitch marker in all 4 edges, or actually, yeah, halfway along the edges, and then we can start joining. For the first part of the join, we're going to start in any marked stitch. So this is a stitch that's exactly halfway between your 2 corner spaces either side. I'm going to start in the marked stitch. I'm going to attach my yarn with a slip stitch. I'm going to leave the stitch markers there because I'm going to need them later on when I actually do close my own cushion. I'm going to start by merely working single crochets. So in every stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet until we get to the next chain 2 corner space. So in the next stitch, I'm going to work a single crochet. I'm going to work a single crochet in every stitch until I get to the chain 2 corner space. We're almost to the chain 2 corner space of the cushion. On the chain 2 space, work a single crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet. I'm going to turn my work, and now again work a single crochet on the next straight edge until you get to your next marked stitch. I'm going to work a single crochet over here until I get there, and then we're going to start making the first join. So a single crochet on every stitch till we're to the marked stitch. working my last single crochets till I get to the marked stitch, and then in that marked stitch we're going to work a slip stitch. Almost there. Last single crochet, then in the marked stitch going to work a slip stitch in there. That's going to be the tip of the corner of the cushion. I'm going to remove the stitch marker, it'll just be a bit easier for me. And what we're now going to do is in the next stitch you're going to work a single crochet in there, and you're going to connect it to the last single crochet you worked. That's that one there. And by doing so you're going to make this join. Show you what I mean. So in the next stitch work a single crochet. So this is a double crochet. So you just insert, pick up a loop, just like it's a single crochet. Now we're going to come back, and in that last single crochet work, you see here's a slip stitch, there's a single crochet. Insert your hook from the front to the back into that stitch. And you're going to have to just fold your work a little bit to really get into that stitch. From the front to the back. Let me just show you that again. So here's the stitch. And this is the front of the work. And from the front to the back. So you've now got that single crochet on your hook as well as the two loops from the single that you're making. Then yarn over and pull through everything. The next stitch on that double crochet, you're going to start with a single. Then to complete the single, come to the next available single crochet on this side, and again insert your hook through there. And it's easier if you bring these two edges together, because that's how you're joining them. And take off. Next stitch. And here the next stitch. And take them off. I'm just going to fold my work double a bit. Double crochet, you start with the single in that double, and then you insert your hook in the next single crochet here, from the outside in, pick up the loop and pull through. And what you're doing as you're doing this is you're making join as you go single crochet. You're just picking up that last stitch before completing the single crochet. And this is actually the exact same way that you would do a double crochet, for example, or a half double, if you would do a join as you go. And if this is all just a bit tricky for you, I mean, you can also join your cushion with your tapestry needle and a piece of yarn. That also works. If you say this, my fingers don't want to do this, I just can't get my head around it, close it with a tapestry needle and some yarn. That also works just fine. And I'm going to continue this until I get to the chain 2 corner space. So I'm going to continue this join until I get to this point here. I'm almost to the chain 2 space here. See, I've still got a few double crochets left on this side and single crochets on that side. I'm just going to do these last few joins and then go to the other side through the double crochet and then through the single, and then this is the last double crochet, and on this side the single crochet. There we go. At this point, your next stitch here on the left is the chain 2 space, and here on the right you'll notice you've still got one single crochet left. That's from making that corner. Remember, you made this single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So that's from that making that corner. So that's why you've got one extra stitch. Well, extra, it's not really extra, but that's why I've got that stitch there. Okay, now make a single crochet through the chain 2 and that stitch. So through this side, and then that single crochet on that side, and pull through. Going to come to the chain 2 space that's here on the right, so this chain 2 space, then through the through one of the chain loops, I'm going to make a slip stitch. I'm going to take the first of the 2 chain loops. So you see here's the chain 2. With those 2 loops, I'm going to take the first one, going to do a slip stitch through there, and then make a slip stitch. Chain 1. Come back to the chain 2 space on the left, so this is from the big corner, to work a single crochet in there. Now we continue and work a single crochet on every stitch until we get to the marked stitch, and there we turn and we do exactly the same as we've done before. Single crochet on every stitch until you get to the marked stitch, which is somewhere down here. I can't find it, but it's somewhere there. So I'm going to work a single crochet until you get to the marked stitch. I have a few more stitches left till I get to the marked stitch. I'm going to work those last singles, and this is my last single crochet. The next stitch is the marked stitch. I'm going to work a slip stitch in there. You can leave the marker in, you can remove it if it's in the way. I'm just going to remove it because it's in the way. Now we're going to work a single crochet through the next stitch, that's this double crochet, and then come back to the last single crochet worked and connect those two exactly the same way we've done before. So in the next double crochet, start the single, and now come back to this last single crochet that's there. And again, you're going to have to just fold your work, especially to get into that first one. I hope my fingers aren't too much in the way. There. And then close everything, so yarn over and complete the single crochet. That's in essence what you're doing. And again, through the next stitch, and the next single on this side, which is there, and then close. And when you've done 3 or 4 of these stitches, it gets easier because your join is a bit bigger. There we go. Just bring the joint together. It's here, and the next one, and join. It's here, and the next one. And through the single, close, and the double, single, and yarn over. So through the double crochet you're starting the single crochet, and then you pick up those loops from that single, and then you yarn over and pull everything through. You see I've now again made a small corner here. This is again the corner of the cushion. I'm going to continue this until I get to the center. So let me just zoom out a little bit so you can see a bit better where I'm at. At the moment I'm at this point here, so I'm just going to continue this join. See, here's the join we've already made until I get to this point here, and then I'll see you at that point. So continue making this join until you're over there. Almost to the chain 2 space again. So this is again the center, back center of the cushion. You also have quite an envelope now already. I'll show you when we're at the end of this part what your work looks like if you zoom out. Still have a few double crochets here on the left that I need to join to the single crochets on the right. I'm going to do that through the double, and then the single on this side, through the double crochet and the single again, through the double crochet and then through the single, and then I've got my last double crochet on this side, and then here I've still got 2 single crochets left. So that's that one. That's the one that's made into this first double crochet here, and then I've got the single crochet that's made into the chain 2 space. So I'm just going to work in that second last single crochet. Now I'm going to do exactly the same as we did when we were at this corner. I'm going to work a single crochet through the chain 2 space and that last, well, that first single crochet, kind of depends on how you look at it. So this one is made into the chain 2 space. So you had the single crochet in the chain 2 space, and you had your slip stitches and the chain and a chain. You had that chain 1 there, and then the next single crochet here. So I'm going to close, make a single between this chain 2 space and that single crochet. So insert through the chain 2 space, and then through that single crochet. There we go. This is just a little tight, but then just pull through. I'm going to do a slip stitch in this chain space. You've got a chain space there, and then in that loop I'm going to make a slip stitch. Where's that? Yeah, on this loop here. Just get my hook into it, and there we go. So this is to the right of where you're currently working, so that chain space there to the right, that space there, and then work a slip stitch, come back, sorry, chain 1, almost forgot the chain 1, then come back. And now we're going to work along this edge. So it's a single crochet in the chain 2 space, and now a single crochet on every stitch until you get to the next marked stitch. I'd also like to show you what your work looks like at this moment, and this is also a point where you can where you need actually to insert your cushion into the envelope that you've created. Let me just hook up this stitch, and then I'll just zoom out and show you exactly where you are at the moment. This is where we're at the moment. We started with making this join, then we went down with the single crochet here and came back and made the join, and now currently we're working on this edge until we get to the marked stitch, and then we're going to come back and make this join. But of course first we need to insert the cushion, so this is a good point to insert your cushion into this envelope here that you've made. Then continue and work the single crochets when you get here, and then we're going to come back and close this last edge. Well, actually this is the second to last edge. Then we're going to close this one here. This point might be a good idea if you do insert your cushion to actually also just put 1 or 2 stitch markers here, just to keep everything connected, because you're going to notice that there's quite some tension on your cushion at this point. So work these single crochets, insert your cushion, and then I'll just see you when you get here, just to make that turn again. Almost to the next marked stitch. You can see I've inserted my cushion. See if this works. Going to work these last single crochets before we get to the marked stitch. That's 1, 2, and the next stitch is the marked stitch, so I'm just going to remove that stitch marker, slip stitch into there, and now again work a join exactly the way we've done before. A single crochet in the double, and then come back to that last single crochet worked, which is there, and then complete the stitch. So in that first one again, you really need to fold your work to get, and fold your hook to get into that first one, and then yarn over and pull through everything. This first one is tight. Then double crochet on the left and single on the right, and pull through. And we're going to repeat this stitch until we get to the center of the cushion. So it's going to be a few more stitches and then that last edge, and then we're all done. So we're really almost there. And then I'm just going to have to fashion this a little bit because I'm pulling my cushion a bit up to really get this, these stitches done. So I'm going to work one more here, and then I'll make a jump in the video again down to the center with all these stitches. Here we go. So continue until you've reached, here I've got a stitch mark, until you've reached this point where it ends up on the other side. Almost to the center again. I'm just going to remove this stitch marker. This was holding everything in place here in the center. I'm just going to move it this side. Just help me keep everything together a bit. Then I don't have to pull so hard on my fabric. You have, yes, 2 more double crochets on this side. On this side I've got 1, 2, 3 single crochets. So these 2 doubles I'm going to join to those first 2 singles I still have left, and then that last single I'm again going to connect that with here with the chain 2 space. And that one, and then the last double crochet with that single, then this chain 2 space on this side, and the single crochet, there we go, on that side, and pull through everything. My hook seems to be stuck somewhere. Just do that again. And there we go. We're now again going to be making a few slip stitches. The first one's going to be here in the chain space that's to the right. So we're going to make a slip stitch through that chain there. And then we're going to come to what's here, this corner here on the left, and make a slip stitch through that chain space. We're going to take 1 loop of that, and then we're going to start joining this last edge. So a slip stitch in the chain 2 space here to the right. So just going to grab 1 loop there. Just 1 loop, and work the slip stitch. Then come to the left, this one here to the left, and in that chain space they're going to pick up a loop, and I'm going to just grab that loop there, that loop, that loop, and work a slip stitch through there. And as you're doing so, you're kind of bringing this corner together. You're really bringing the corner together. Now I can again start joining. So through the chain 2 space and the single crochet that's on the other side, because if you look closely here you'll see you've got a whole lot of single crochets that you've worked into doubles, and you've got that first double crochet there from the double crochet that you've worked in this chain space. So with that single crochet you're going to be joining through this space, and then through that adjoining single crochet, and then pull through everything. Then through the first double crochet and through the next single on the other side, and connect the 2. And this is kind of hard for me because the angle in front of the camera is not a very pleasant angle to work with actually. I'm going to remove this stitch marker. And then through the next double crochet and the single crochet that's on the other side, which if I look correctly is that one. That one. And then I pull through everything. And like I say, if I've got this on my lap, this is easier than in front of the camera. And through the next double crochet and the single crochet that's on the other side. And pull through everything. I'm going to continue like this until you get to the corner, which is over here. So I'm going to repeat this and make this last join, and then I'll see you for the last corner. I'm almost back to where we started. This marked stitch is where we attached our yarn with a slip stitch, so we're almost all the way around. I have a few stitches left. I'm going to join, and these last few, they're always a bit tricky and a bit fudgy because we've got no more wiggle room left. I'm going to close these last few, just double crochet on this side and then the single on that side, and it really gets harder. Still got 2 left, and when you've completed your last single crochet, you're going to close with a slip stitch in the slip stitch we started with. So that's where we started. Got 1 stitch left. So that's the very last one. And now I've really got it. There we go. This is where we attach with a slip stitch. So I'm just going to take that stitch marker out. And then just join in there somewhere with a slip stitch. Like I said, technically you need to join on the slip stitch that you already have in there. But you know, this is all in white and nobody's going to see. So I'm just going to join there with a slip stitch somewhere. Cut your yarn. Open up. And now with a needle, thread in this last yarn tail into your cushion. And when you've worked away your last yarn tail, you're all done with your In Bloom cushion. It looks absolutely amazing. I really love this cushion. It's going to be a very valuable addition to all the cushions I already have on my couch. Bring us to the end of this project. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again for a new project.